anytime you say something to yourself that goes against that particular change, it's going to be hard for you to overcome it. You have the ability to change. Now, change can be very uncomfortable, but in order to evolve, we have to be willing to make changes in our lives. So the question is how can you invoke change and set intention to change where it's easier for you to do so? For me, I personally love using times of the year to change. So the first day of the new year, great time to make changes. My birthday, great time to make changes. Anytime the season changes. So you have winter, spring, summer, and fall. Great little reset buttons. You can use every week. So it could be a Sunday or a Monday where you're like, I'm hitting the reset button. This is a great fresh start for me. You can also use the months where in the car business, when I used to work in the car business, it was like you went from hero to zero. Or if you were having a bad month, you got to start to become a hero again at the beginning of the month. And you get to go from the entire month, end of month, you reached your goals or you didn't reach your goals. And then the beginning of the month was a fresh new start. You get to decide how and when you get to pivot in making those changes. So one, you want to use time and set a date on when you're going to make a change. And some of the examples that I just gave could be those time frames. The other thing in order to change is you want to give yourself permission to get messy with it, meaning you don't have to be perfect. It could be a slow, gradual start. And if you make it slow and steady, you're more likely to create that change. So let's say you're wanting to have better health and you decide that you're going to eat healthy food. Well, if you just throw away everything you've been eating and it gets overwhelming, you might consistently eat healthy for a day or two or maybe a week, and it's going to be challenging. So instead, what you can do is you can say, you know what, I'm going to make some lifestyle changes, and I'm going to give myself permission to have one meal or maybe 3 meals out of the week where I just get to eat in moderation, whatever it is that I want to eat. And then slowly you can make those changes. The key is to keep your eye on the goal, the desire, the intention. So when you get uncomfortable, when you're making those changes, you then can go, why am I doing this? The sacrifices, the uncomfortableness that I'm experiencing, why am I doing this? And then you can remind yourself why you're doing it. And so we'll just keep to that example of having better health. Well, for me, like if I was doing this, I'm eating better, so my hormones are balanced. My physical body feels good. My mind is clear. There's no fog. I'm eating healthy so I can live longer and be a part of my daughter's life when I get older, when she gets older. There's many reasons why we have goals and desires and intentions. And so the more that you keep your eye on the prize and keep reflecting on it, it will allow you to move through the stickiness, to move through the uncomfortableness when it comes up and presents itself. And trust me, it's going to present itself. Our minds, our body, our egos, they want to stay comfortable. They want to stay in what's familiar. And so if you remind your ego, remind yourself, remind all aspects of your being that you're doing this for a particular reason, it will be a lot easier. The other thing about change is anytime you say something to yourself that goes against that particular change, it's going to be hard for you to overcome it. And so it's going to happen. So I'm not going to tell you don't allow that to happen, because it's going to happen. It's about how you're going to choose to react from what it is that you're either saying to yourself, or how it is that you are reacting to what it is that you're uncomfortable with. So for example, if I'm going to stick with the example of just health, if I'm having a hard time because I find it very difficult to figure out what to eat and how to eat it and how to stay healthy, and I'm just in this spiraling loop of this is hard, this is so hard, I don't know what to do, I'm going to go, you know what? It is hard. It is hard. You know what? Let's take a breath. Let's breathe. Let's ground. It's okay. It's okay if we don't know all the answers. It's okay if I'm not sure what to do next, but let's just ground and create peace in this moment, knowing that I will figure it out. I have resources to help me figure it out. And so I'll breathe and I will ground. My reaction is not to keep spiraling out of control. My reaction is to ground and find peace and quiet, to allow the mind to get quiet. And then I can shift the thought by canceling that thought. So instead of spiraling out of control and saying, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, I'm going to go breathe, pause. It's not hard. It's not hard. Taking care of my health. So I'm going to choose a different thought. I'm going to cancel that thought and I'm going to choose a different thought. And the thought might be taking care of my health is my most important priority because it allows me to feel good and I deserve to feel good. And it's easy. It might be something long-winded like that, or it might be, I am healthy and I feel amazing. I am healthy and I feel amazing. My body feels good, my mind feels good, and I can figure out what to eat that will allow me to feel healthy and continue my health journey. Whatever it is, you can come up with these new ways of thinking and ingrain them by repeating them to yourself. The other thing about change is not only keeping your eye on the prize and shifting your thoughts, you also want to believe that it is possible for you to have that particular change and that you deserve it. If you don't feel that you are worthy of that change, you have some inner work to do. And that inner work is going to be to uncover why you feel unworthy or why you don't feel like you deserve it, why you might be self-sabotaging. And when you can get to the answer of why, it will be easier for you to make those changes. That does not mean that you stop trying to make the change. You just get curious about it as you're moving along. And this is why I love the Akashic Record so much. So for me, like, I will notice that I am self-sabotaging myself, or I'm in this cycle of repeating the same pattern and the same habit, and I'll lean into my spiritual tools. And one of my favorite spiritual tools is the Akashic Records. And the reason why it's my favorite spiritual tool is because every word, deed, thought from the moment my soul is incepted is recorded in the Akash, and everybody has an Akashic records. And I can go in and ask the guardians, like, hey, why am I sabotaging myself? Why am I so resistant to change? What are the steps that I can take to overcome this problem that I'm having? And some of the answers can be quite complex. Some of them can be very simple. Some of them may be something I never even thought of or considered. And that's the cool thing about working with the guardians of the records, or working with your spirit guides, or working with creation, God, your team, your spiritual team, to get answers, because sometimes we need an outside perspective to boost our confidence. And not only boost our confidence, we know that someone, something believes that we are capable and able to do it, even if we don't think so ourselves. And that's really, really, really powerful. To me, I find like the guardians are like the biggest cheerleaders. But you can also have other cheerleaders that aren't just in the spiritual realm. You can have a friend, a family member, a coworker, a colleague, a coach, a mentor, a healer that you can lean on and ask questions, and you know that they believe in you. And this mentor can be someone that you work with one-on-one, or it could be someone that you consume their content online or on podcasts or things like that, where it's like they inspire you to think differently. I know for me, like, I always look towards my teachers and my mentors, and I'll ask myself, like, how would they approach this situation? Because sometimes our old self that's living in the present moment is creating our future self. And if I can think about how someone else that I admire and look up to would maybe react or navigate this situation, I can then go, I think that that's how they would do that. Would that work for me? Yes, no, maybe a part of it. Okay, cool. Yeah, part, great. And then I will go, what else can I do that will allow me to start taking these steps that works for me? And it's this beautiful self exploration that you get to discover something new about yourself. And this journey that you're on during this change is the best part. The reward is absolutely what happens after the change, right? But you get to be rewarded all along the way. And the reward is noticing the changes, noticing how your mind changes, how your body changes, how your energy changes. And those changes create a different frequency, which then allows you to attract more of the experiences that you're wanting to attract, which then also creates a different future for yourself. So, part of this opportunity is not to drag your feet when you are wanting to change, it's to get excited about the change. And to be really honest, when you are fearful about it, and if you're stuck or avoiding, to get curious about why. And when you get stuck and you get curious, then you get the opportunity to give yourself some love, some compassion, to work out why you're stuck and to get yourself out of that position and get the ball moving again. The other thing that I love about change is the opportunity to shift your reality and the people you get to experience your journey with. Let me tell you, if I was still doing the same things that I was doing, let's say in high school, my life would be completely different. Or in my 20s or whenever, like, my life would be completely different. What I have found is every time I make changes, there's a new circle of influence that I get to be a part of, and they get to be a part of my world. And their influence and my influence creates a beautiful harmony that allows us to synergetically create change together. And then we might stay in that relationship, or we might change as we evolve and change as well. But it's such a beautiful experience. And if you ever just like think about how many different people you've come in contact with and how much your life has changed since you met that person, or you've talked to that person, or you were with that person, it's really cool to think about. And it can also be really scary as well, because you might be afraid that you might leave someone behind. But have no fear, my friend. If someone is meant to be in your life, they will stay in your life. If they're not meant to be in your life, it is okay to let them go, or for you to allow yourself to grow, because it is not worth you dimming your light or dumbing yourself down in order to stay in a circle so you don't hurt anybody's feelings. You have to grow, because if you don't grow, you'll get sick, or you'll stay in a state where you will not be satisfied with how your life is turning out, or how your life turned out. And so if you give yourself permission to be in the uncomfortableness of change all throughout your life, and enjoy the journey along the way, and cry when it is sad, be angry when you are angry, and give yourself permission to experience the range of emotions that come with those experiences along the journey, you get to live such a beautiful human experience. And you deserve that. And most importantly, when you give yourself permission to create and be a part of the change that you seek, you get to be in the driver's seat. Your ego doesn't get to be in the driver's seat. You get to be in the driver's seat. You get to navigate your way through life, and you're not navigating it from a place of fear from the past. You're navigating it from a place of excitement to see what is to come, which is so powerful and so amazing, and you totally, totally deserve it. I want to encourage you to figure out whatever it is that you're wanting to change. When are you going to do it? Set a date. And I forgot to mention this in the earlier time. The moon cycles are also a great time to set new intentions and to release old patterns. New moon, set new intentions. Full moon, releasing old patterns. We have all these beautiful time markers all throughout the years that we can use as energy portals that will create some beautiful, auspicious, magnificent, potent energies to create long-lasting change. And not only are these portals there to create and support this change, but to hold you as you're changing, to support you as you're changing. And who doesn't need support? We all need support. We're not meant to do this alone. So create the change that you desire to create the future in the present moment. So start taking steps and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because as you get in that motion, you will be in flow then, my friend. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.